to thank everybody for taking the time out of their busy schedule this lovely mid-holiday week to attend the webinar on creating email templates to save time and increase productivity. As I stated just a few minutes ago, I am going to have everybody on mute through the beginning of this webinar so that everybody can hear. I am recording this training, so it will be available. I'll upload it to YouTube. INSZoom has a YouTube channel, so once the webinar has concluded, I'll send out an email with the PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to go through, and I'll give you the link to the YouTube video. So if something happens, you have a immigration crisis and you need to drop off, I totally understand, but I will do my best to make sure that I can get the information to you. So thank you very much. My name is Kristen Gause. I am the Manager of Business Development and Solutions for INSZoom. I've been with them since September of 2014, and prior to joining INSZoom, I worked for a global immigration provider here in Florida. I work remotely from Florida and did global immigration for 6.5 years. So I have worked with Zoom from your perspective as an end user and somebody who has experienced with global immigration. I did not do U.S. immigration, but I was the super user or the power user at our firm and customized the system and utilized all of these different features. So I tried to teach others, you know, some of the information or the skills that I gained while I was using it. Sometimes it helps to hear the information from somebody who was an end user and understand your perspective. And as we get started, I just want to remind everybody, if you are able and you would like to join us for the INSZoom Power User Conference that's going to be held in San Ramon on January the 22nd, please sign up. I would have loved to meet everyone and speak with you and teach you some more stuff at the Power User Conference. The cost of the conference is $100, but that does include your lunch and goodies and, you know, break, snack, and tea and coffee, soda. So we'll feed you really well, and we'll make sure that you're really taken care of. Also, if you do need a room to attend that event, the San Ramon Marriott, where we're having the event, which is across the street from INSZoom's office, we have rooms blocked at a discounted rate, but the block of rooms to discount expires on December the 31st. So if you can go, please go to Eventbrite and register, but book a room. We have a website set up, so I'll send you all those details when we're finished. So it looks like everybody has joined in and gotten started. So here we go. All right, so to get started today, I'm going to tell you why you should be using email templates if you don't already use them. If you are using them, maybe this will help you think of some other ways that you could better utilize them or possibly improve some efficiency. But the biggest one, the first reason for using templates is uniformity in communicating with your clients. You want to communicate in a very professional manner with your clients. You want to have the same consistent format in emails, wording, and everything that gets sent out to your clients. It looks much more professional when things are consistent and your client knows what to expect, whether they're working with you, the attorney, your colleague, another paralegal, or, you know, whatever. It looks much more professional when you are consistently sending emails that look the same. The second main reason why you should use email templates is knowledge sharing. One of the things that can be really frustrating when you work in a small firm or a big firm, or you're a new hire to a firm, is you have a knowledge expert who's drafted these wonderful emails and they have them saved in their Outlook or on Word on their computer. And so you need to go send out an intro email for a brand new process, and you're scattering, asking anybody if they have an intro email available. If you put the email template in INSZoom, then it is available for everybody. They have access to it at all times, so that the new hires have access to the same information or some of the great emails that have been drafted by those who've been at the firm for a much longer period of time. Another reason for using them is clear communication. Sometimes Paralegals, they're not native English speakers or native in another language, and the emails that they draft might sound like they're broken or the grammar isn't perfect, and they feel really non-confident about the information that they're sending out to your clients. So if you create these email templates, you can ensure that the grammar is accurate, the sentence structure is good, but also, a lot of people who are excellent paralegals or even attorneys, some of us, we just, when you're writing, you have typos and you don't notice because it's hard to proofread your own work. So having email templates can also ensure that you have very, very well-written emails that are being sent to your clients without mistakes. There's no more copying and pasting from Word documents if you put everything into an email template. Really, once I get to the part where I show you how to make the email template, it's very fast. You can do them very, very quickly. You can update them very, very quickly. So there's really not any good reason to not have this information stored in Zoom. If you use keywords, which I really hope that you do, when you create the email template, if you populate your template with keywords, then once you go and you utilize it, your email is going to be ready to go. You can have the foreign national's name, their destination country, possibly, the petition or the case matter type that you're going to be processing for them. There are thousands of keywords. So you can click a button, draft an email, and it's ready to go, specific to that client. I love keywords. They're fantastic. One of the other things is that emails are captured in Zoom. So if anybody were to leave your firm, it's not just stuck in their Outlook. So if they do send emails from INSZoom, you can go to the foreign nationals profile or the case level or even the corporation level, and you can see the communications that were sent out to the client, it is very helpful. Even if somebody's out sick and you want to know what was the last communication, you can go check. Email templates are great for keeping clients updated when key milestones are met, because you can very easily create email templates saying, intro email, or your case has been approved, or we're not tracking your case, or even sending them a survey. You can capture all of that within INSZoom. And the last thing is also one important thing, and this is a great feature, you can attach a document to an email template, which is really helpful if you're sending an intro email out to your client and maybe you don't use the questionnaires in Zoom because you need to use outside counsel and you need to get the info over to them. You have created a Word questionnaire or a PDF questionnaire for a country process. You can attach it to the email. So it's already there. You don't need to draft the email and then spend the time waiting for the document to upload. You can automatically attach it to the template when you create it. So what kind of emails can you turn into email templates? And really, you could do hundreds of emails with email templates, but just a couple of ideas. You could have an intro email to the foreign national when you're starting a new process. You could create email templates for follow-up. Just a reminder, you need to send me your questionnaire. Reminder, I need a copy of your passport. You can create templates for this so you don't have to hand type this out every single time. You could have your email template to HR asking for supporting documents. You can have them to the foreign national, letting them know you've received all the documents and you're going to create the application. You can let them know that you filed the application, that it's been approved. You can even create internal emails within your own team. So if you need to create a billing email, somebody's got to create the invoice for your services so you all can get paid. So you can create a billing email and you can pull in keywords with the petition type, what were any costs, consular costs, did you use any outside counsel, who were they? You can have keywords that are also formulated from custom data fields. So you can put together a really good billing email that goes to a billing specialist if that's how your firm is structured. You could also send out an email template for the next step. When you enter a destination country, what will be expected, what do you need to do. If you have documents that are about to expire, for example, a passport, if you're putting the information into INSZoom, passport information, visa information, work permits, you're opening these petitions, you're tracking them. If they expire, you need to reach out to these folks and see if they need help with renewing their passport or residence permit. I mean, if it's corporate-based immigration, obviously you're going to need to keep up with that. But this is possible repeat business for your firm. And so you shouldn't let things expire, something simple like a passport, without sending out a renewal email. Hey, do you want me to help you with your passport renewal? Same thing with the visa or resident or work permit. And then also an email to HR asking for approval to renew their documents so you can start the process again. So you can see, if you really think outside the box, there's a lot that you can do with email templates. We all work through emails, hundreds of them a day. So it really will behoove you and your firm to take the time to create these. All right, so getting started on how to create them, I'm going to go through my PowerPoint where I've detailed what it is that you need to do. There's just a couple of slides, and then I'll switch over online and show you how to do it live. I just thought it would be good for me to walk you through the PowerPoint and teach you how to create these email templates so that when you have the PowerPoint, you have some references. Okay, so for the first step, what you want to do is you need to obviously log into INSZoom, and then you're going to want to go to click on the knowledge base, which is located under the settings. And then once the page loads on the left-hand menu, you're going to want to click on email templates. Once the page loads on the email template page, you have the little brown action bar at the top. So you have your little drop-down window. What we're going to do to create a new one is click and make sure that you have selected Add New Email Template, and then you click the green arrow. And then you're going to get a pop-up window, and this is where you actually draft your new email template. So the first thing you want to do, if you're using Enterprise Edition, so the clients who are listening in who have Enterprise, this is going to be different for the folks who use Professional. If you use Professional, you have access to create stuff under the United States, and that's it. So you won't need to make a country selection. If you are using Enterprise and you provide global services, this is important. Okay, so you want to select the country where you want to store your email template. All right, so why is that important? If you do immigration to China and you want to create an intro email for China, and it's specific for China, and it could be Russia, Brazil, whatever, you don't want that one particular email to show up if you are doing cases for Brazil. It's not applicable. So this is one way that you can organize your email template so that when you create a new case for China, you'll only see the email templates that are for that particular country. Very, very important that you start off creating email templates if you're using Enterprise and you're storing them in an organized way. Otherwise, you're going to have hundreds of emails that you have to sort through every time you want to send one, and that's not helpful. So select the correct country, plus if you don't, you won't see it. So if you create a email for Brazil, you won't be able to send it if you're under a case for China. It won't show up. Okay, so I just want to be very clear about that. If you are creating an email, such as your case has been filed, your case has been approved, and it's generic, then you want to store that email under global. You do have a country option that says global. That is applicable for all countries. And so for those generic emails, like the billing email, then you want to store under global. Okay? All right, so the next thing is once you've chosen the country where you want to store it, then you can select people who are going to receive it. I would recommend that you leave this part blank. I mean, if you put in the assignee's name, then every time you draft this particular email, it's going to go to the assignee, and I just feel like that kind of creates a little bit of extra work if it changes. If you want to blind copy an address, and you can see my asterisk down here on this little caveat, this is super important. People will do this and then they won't realize. So please listen. Do not put a person's email address in the BCC field. Don't do it. So why I'm saying this, let me give you an example. Maybe you blind copy Jim Bob in your firm because he wants to be in copy on all the new initiations so he can possibly keep track of all the petitions you're doing for a client so he can, I don't know, bill for them, okay? But Bob quits one day and he leaves. And you have Jim Bob blind copy on all of these emails that you send out to your clients. You know what that means? That you have to go back and update all of your email templates and take out Jim Bob's email address. If you blind copy an email box, get with somebody who's very tech savvy that knows how to create a group email box, for example, initiations@abcfirm.com. Okay, so they can create that on your email server, and you plug that in right here. That way, it is your emails that get blind copied or sent out to this box don't need to ever be changed. Okay, take it from somebody who's made this mistake on 500 email templates for 200 countries. Don't use a person. Always use an email box. Okay, so we're going to move on now. So for the title, you want to create the title, and you can see with the red asterisk that you actually have to create a title when you're creating an email template. And this is important. And if you are new with using email templates or you want to go back and clean up the ones that you all have for your firm, I do recommend that you choose a naming convention, which just means that you name them all in a similar manner and that the title of the email kind of conveys who it needs to go to. That way, when you are doing immigration work and you're selecting the email to send out, you know exactly what it is at a glance. Okay, so if it's for the United States, I always recommend putting, it's for the United States. If it's, your passport's about to expire, then title it, passport expiration email. But make it consistent so it doesn't look messy in your system, so you can easily find them. It also helps if one of your colleagues asks you, hey, what email template do I use for this particular process? You can very easily give them the name and they can go find it. All right, so for the subject line, also an item that is required on email templates, you have to create a subject line. You can use the keywords. So you can see on the screenshot that I have at the very bottom, there's a little gold arrow that shows it's pointing to refer keywords. When you click on that, it'll actually pop up a new window, and that's where all of your keywords are located, and you can copy and paste them. Keywords pull information from the system, and this is the real gem to email templates, is using these so that when you do send out your email template, you don't have to fill in information. So you can see on my subject line here, I used corporate name, and then I use that up and down line. It's actually called a pipe. That's just to separate it so it doesn't look messy. And then I use client first name, client last name, and then another pipe, and then I've done case description. So you can, however your company or your firm utilizes, however you all, send out subject lines, maybe you guys are consistent and you have a particular rule of how you do it, then that's how you want to create your subject line. But when I go to create my email, all of this information is going to be populated for me. Then we're going to move on to the body of the email. So in the body of the email, you can plug this information in. Now, just be careful. If you copy and paste your body of your email from Word, you have your email stored in Word, and you want to put it into Zoom. If you copy and paste, you may have issues with the formatting that gets carried over from Word. One item that's really helpful if you do opt to do that is put that information, copy it from Word, put it into WordPad so it removes the formatting, and then copy it back into Zoom and space it all out, line it up, so that you can not have those formatting issues. But in the body of the email, you can see that I pulled in my little example here, salutation. So you can pull in Mr. or Mrs. If you make sure that you put the sex of your individual in Zoom, for example, male or female, then the salutation will populate actually, I'm sorry, your pronouns will populate correctly. The salutation actually does come from when you add the person to Zoom. So if you choose Mr., Mrs., Dr., that will pull along. I've used the last name. And you can see I've just some examples here. Attorney full name is actually the case manager responsible for the case is what we'll pull on there. And then you just plug it all in. One of the little reminders when you are using keywords, oops, I think I went back. You want to be sure if the email is to be sent from the case level. For example, it's an intro email for China that you're going to send on a case that you opened for China or for the United States. You use case level keywords. If you opt to send that email from the client level, the case specific keywords aren't going to populate. So just remember that when you're building your email templates, where are you going to send the email from? Just make sure you understand. If you put in a keyword that says case description, it's going to pull if you send it from the case level. But if you're now sending that email from the client level, it's not. Okay, if you have any questions about that, just make sure you flag it, and I'll show you that at the end of our training here. But it's really important so you understand what's going on. And then you can see very last here is the link to attach or remove a file. Okay, so this is where you could put in a process overview for an intro email, a questionnaire that you want to send to your client, whatever you guys do internally. If you have things that you attach that are fairly, they don't change frequently and you want to attach it to the email, then yeah, go ahead and do that. And then you don't need to upload it. So when you go draft that email, bam, there's your attachment. All right, and then the last step once you've created it is to actually go to an individual for national and you go find the template that you just created and you test it out. You really do need to do that. Because when you're getting started with email templates, you know, there's going to be some trial and error. You may use the wrong keyword. You may not like the way that it looks. And so you're going to go back and forth and tweak it to get it until the way that you want it. But it's very simple. You know, you go to the client profile, and I will take you all through this. And then you go and you find the email template you created. You click Compose Email, and then you send it out. All right. So now I'm going to close my PowerPoint. So we're going to shrink that down, and then I'm just going to show you online. All right, so I've logged into INSZoom, and this is the landing page. I am going to show you this example from Enterprise. If you are unsure of what version of INSZoom you are using, if you look over here in the right-hand corner, you can see that it says Enterprise. Okay, so I'm using the global product. I have access to all of the different countries because I'm subscribed to them. If you are using professional, like I said before, you will see professional over here, but your product is related for the United States only, so you won't have access to all the different countries. All right, so we're going to go to knowledge base. And hopefully, because I'm using GoToWebinar, my bandwidth isn't horrible. And Nancy, I do see your question here about finding a place to add the client's middle name. And so if I don't have an opportunity to address that question on this webinar, I'll send you an email with instructions on where to add the middle name. All right, so once you click on knowledge base, you're going to land here, and these are petition templates. So on the left-hand side, you want to click email templates. All right, and then we're going to click add new template. So I'm going to click the green arrow. Okay, and this is the screen that you work from when you're creating your email template. So the first thing I usually do when I'm going to get started with a template, whether it be an email template or a letter template, is I go ahead and click on refer keywords. So I have that screen, and I am working with a second monitor. I usually have my laptop plugged into a second monitor so I can see more and not have to toggle. So I'll open both of these up for you, and this monitor is quite large. Hopefully this isn't too small for everybody and you can see what it is that I'm doing. All right, so we have our email template and we have our refer keywords. And so to get started, we have to pick a title. So let's just plug something in there. Okay, and then we're going to pick a subject line, and this is where you go and you use your keywords and you look for the terms that you need. Okay, so the first thing I want to do for a keyword is I'm going to put in the corporation that I'm corresponding with. So in my drop down here, I'm going to choose corporation so I can see the corporate specific keywords. All right, so here's the one for corporation name. I click on that, or you can even just copy and paste it. And you put it in there. Okay, so I'm very particular. I like to be organized, and I want to know if I'm emailing a client who, when they respond back to me, you know, who do they work with? Because when you have thousands of assignees, you don't remember exactly what company they work for. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to put in the person's name. So this drop down, it's probably really small, but I'm going to click where it says client. And so it's going to now update me on the client keyword. So now I'm going to go and I have to look for client's full name. I don't want the mother's full name. I want their, okay, so here we are at the very bottom. I'm going to highlight that. There is a keyword in here that says client's full name, but it will put in their entire name. So if they do have a really long middle name or several names, it'll put in all of them, and I prefer just to do first and last. So then you can go through, and we got to find the last name. You can see down here at the bottom that there are more than 10 pages of keywords, so you have a lot of options when it comes to building these email templates. You could also type in last and hit the filter button and kind of sort through and see what it is that you're looking for. Okay, so client last name is here. All right. And then it's up to you, but you could either do, you know, description, case description, or you could do country, or you could leave it blank. It doesn't matter. It's completely up to you. But that's how you do the subject line. The body of the email is composed with the exact same idea. So you would do dear, and then you would find salutation. And once you find these and you've kind of created a couple of email templates, you get much more familiar with where they're at, and you can go find them and plug them in really quickly. So you want to put in, come on, we want salutation. I must have spelled it wrong. All right, so we're just going to, for purposes of time, Mr. Okay, so I think you all get the idea. You find the keywords, you draft your email, you say whatever it is you need to say. If there's something you need to attach, you can do it down here at the bottom. And when you're finished, you click Save. All right? And I did put my email under the United States. So when I go show you the example, it's going to show up. All right, so you've created your email template. I called it China Intro Email. So let's go find it, and then we're going to send it out. So I'm going to use Mr. Cheng Zhou. He's my test dummy. All right, so we have a petition for the United States. I'm going to go pick it, select it. And over here on the left-hand side, we're going to go email, compose email. All right, now you want to click on select message. And you can see here, China Intro Email. And you can see here, this is the INSZoom. This is one of the little test accounts that we all share and use when we're in here doing stuff. But you can see how messy it is when you just add stuff randomly. That's why I kind of stress making sure that you format and name your title of your email. So it's very self-explanatory. If you click here on this link, it will actually show you what the email has inside of it so that you can view it before you select it. But we're going to choose that one. And it's going to create my email. So we have the business name, the person's first and last name, and then we have our body of our email. And it's that simple. It's very, very easy to create the email templates. And that is it. So do we have any questions? Let me see here. I can unmute everyone and we can see if we can take questions that way. But if we get a lot of feedback, I'm going to mute everyone and just ask you to submit them through the system. Okay, so I'm going to have to do them one at a time, so I'm going down the line. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, because it is a pretty simple process, I want to thank everybody for attending. Yeah, see, it's very noisy. Yes, somebody asked me if I was going to send out a copy of the presentation, and absolutely I am. I also uploaded it as a handout. So if you look at your GoToWebinar tool, you may be able to find the handout, but I will send it out to you, the presentation. Okay, so here we have questions coming. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Pav. All right. So how do we change the font so the template font matches the other text loaded by an individual email under a client's account? If you need to change the font with an email that you've already drafted, you can highlight it and you can change the font like I'm doing on my screen right now. So let me do that again. Okay, if you would like to change the font when you create the email in the knowledge base, I will have to go back there and show you. So let me go back. Knowledge base. Oh my goodness, I have to look for it now. When you're creating the email, I'm editing this particular one, but you can see here, if I highlight again, there's the drop-down window to change the text. So it's the same process to change the font, either when you're creating the email template in the knowledge base or from the client's profile. So you highlight the text, and then you have your drop-down. Okay. One of the questions that I also received was, how do you create the pipe? The pipe is the straight up and down little item that I referenced. You actually do that on your keyboard. So let me look at my keyboard. I've done it so many times automatically that I actually have to look at it, look for it when I go to do it. It's on the keyboard though. Let's see here. I gotta find it. Okay, so you hold down Shift, and it's the button right above your Enter key. So if you look right above the Enter key, there's the pipe. I like that better than the sideways line. It's just a personal preference for me, but it's right above your Enter button. So you hold Shift and then that one above Enter, and that's how you get the pipe. Crystal asked me the question, can you explain the difference between the case level keywords and client level keywords? Crystal, absolutely. The difference is, and actually you can, when you hit the refer keywords and we get this screen, Let me see if I can make it bigger for you. You have a category section up here, and so there are, if you click on case, it'll show you the keywords that are specific to a case. And if you click on client, it'll show you the keywords specific to the client. So for example, the keyword for first and last name actually pulls from the client level. Passport information is going to pull from the client level. Anything that you save, so let's go look at a client. Let me go look at my little Cheng Joe, my friend here. Let me go back to Cheng. Any information that gets entered into Zoom at the client level, okay, so if you're looking at my screen right now, I'm showing you the client level for Cheng Joe. So his name, his date of birth, passport, information, all of that is going to pull from the client level. All right, if we go down and we choose a case, any of the information that is stored at the case level is going to pull from here. So I hope that kind of helps to explain. For example, if I send this gentleman an update on his I-140 immigrant petition and I use the keyword for case description, if I were to send that email from the client level, it's not going to populate that keyword because this is not available at the client level. It is available at the case level. Okay? So hopefully that helps, that explanation. If not, just let me know. Send me an email and I'll have a quick call with you and I can possibly explain it a little bit more. Let's see here. Can you attach a PDF from the digital documents in the client's case profile? You can do that manually for that particular question. If I can attach a PDF from the client's case profile, yes, I can draft an email from the client level, compose email, and then I can manually attach a document, for example, the person's resume or their passport. But when you're creating the email template, you can attach a document like a questionnaire or a process overview, but you can't say, I want to attach this person's passport every single time. So it's stagnant. Once you upload it to the email template, that's what's going to be populated. But once you've drafted the email template, so let me show you again. So on my screen, I'm going to choose China intro email. It's going to populate, pull in the custom data or the keywords. Okay. And then yes, right down here underneath the body of the email, you click Add Remove File, and that's how you can attach a document. If you want to include a digital document that's already been uploaded, so you see here on my screen, it says Include Digital Documents, then I can now go and see what digital documents I have on file for this gentleman, and I can attach it. One of the questions I have received, the question reads, sometimes we notice that the formatting is off on our emails when we receive it in Outlook. It appears to be corrected in the Zoom email template. Is this from copying from Word or Outlook? The answer is it's possible that it is from copying and pasting it from Outlook. It does not remove the formatting when you copy and paste from Outlook or Word. That's why I suggest putting it into WordPad, but then that becomes really time-consuming. If you create an email template, please make sure if you copy it from Word or Outlook that you do plug it into WordPad, remove the formatting, and then create your email template. I have also noticed when I use a mass marketing tool like this one product we have, Acton, when I send it from Acton and it comes through Outlook, my formatting, it changes the font. So some of that I think Outlook actually changes when it hits your Outlook. So if you do think that it's a problem, then I would suggest creating your email template, removing the formatting when you create your email template, and then if it seems to still be persistent, I would submit a Zoom ticket and see if someone could look into that and help you with it. All right, one of the very last question that we have is, do the email templates in subsequent emails to clients take up substantial storage space in Zoom? They do not. The email templates and the email does not take up substantial storage in INSZoom. The thing that takes up the most space is always going to be the documents, digital documents. It's the same with your hard drive on your computer. They're large and they do take up space. The email templates do not take up a substantial amount of space. And Zoom, you know, I think if you are using Enterprise Edition, and I am just speaking from the top of my head, but you get like 4 gigs of space for free. And then if you go over that, it's like $2 a gig per month. So it is very affordable if you do run out of space to add more space to your INSZoom. Very affordable. So it's, like I said, it's like $1, $2 a gig every month. So if you add 10 gigs, you would be spending an extra $10 a month of something along those lines. So it's very doable. And that is it. I really appreciate the questions and all of you who joined us today on this very quiet week. I sent out an email blast yesterday, and I think I got 250 out-of-office messages. And I thought, oh, how lucky. Some of these firms are shut down for 2 weeks, and here we are all working. So thank you for joining. I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar, and I will send you an email with my presentation along with the link to the recording. Thank you all. Have a super happy new year.